Good morning. I'm Jeff Ward, Vice President of Busey Bank. Busey Bank welcomes you to the 133rd Annual Santa Claus Parade, Christmas Wishes Filled with Hope. Busey is proud to be by your side this holiday season. We are honored to bring you the 63rd televised broadcast of the longest continuously running Santa Claus Parade in the nation. Busey Bank is a proud partner for purpose and progress in the Tri-County area. Please join us as we enjoy this year's parade, Christmas Wishes Filled with Hope. And now I'm proud to hand things over to our WMBD parade team live in downtown Peoria. Here are Bob Larson and Rebecca Brumfield.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 133rd Annual Santa Claus Parade in downtown Peoria. I'm Bob Larson.
And I'm Rebecca Brumfield.
And as you can tell, this is going to be a little different this year. We're in a new location. In fact, Rebecca, we're right in front of Civic Center.
We are right here on Southwest Jefferson Street. And as always, we will, of course, be bringing you the best coverage live and in color with 4 cameras positioned in our broadcast area.
That's right across the street right now, taking shots of us, are Randy Taylor. She will be giving us her perspective of what's going on.
And we have Chris Buckley right in the middle of it to get the parade grower's view of Santa and all the beautifully decorated floats.
That's right, and the one and only Nate Martin is street side with our own chief meteorologist, the one and only Chris Yates. And Chris, a little cool out here today, but, not bad. We've been out here when it's been raining, snowing, doing a lot of different things.
Looks like the clouds are going to break up here, so that's for the CI Proud to Go weather app. We've got temperatures sitting in the upper 30s. So that's what I'm going to do here in just 1 second because my ears are getting a little cold. But we are expected to see those temperatures climbing back into the 40s this afternoon.
Wonderful. We love to
Very
hear it,
good.
Chris.
Yes, that's for sure. Now, as we said, because of the pandemic, this is going to be a little different parade. An hour ago or so, people could drive by the parade when it was lined up. But this time, they're going to do the parade just for us to come right by our viewpoint here in front of the Civic Center. And as you can tell now, we don't have masks on, but we do have this plexiglass so that we're all good and safe around
It's hidden
here.
right behind this amazing
There you go.
Christmas
So
tree
it will be a
our
little bit
engineers made.
different, but, pace discouraged people from coming downtown. There's a few people here, but they actually wanted you to watch it on TV. One other thing that won't be happening is the You'll Like Peoria tonight. But what will be happening is right now our 133rd parade, and of course with it comes our banner. It's kicking off the parade as usual. We want to also give a shout out to the Barnes family, the co-chairs this year, Susie Stockman, Shirley Zook, and Dallas Mitchell.
And you know, Bob, this is the longest continuous running Santa parade in the country. The first parade was in 1888 and was 8 blocks long.
Yeah, don't look at me. I wasn't here then.
Me either.
This is my 47th parade. And by the way, we have had this parade on continuously since the station signed on in 1958. So it's our 63rd telecast.
63rd telecast.
Yes.
How amazing is that?
It is amazing. And technology has changed a whole lot since then.
It sure has.
But I'll tell you what, the enthusiasm, this, of course, as you mentioned, is the oldest continuing parade, Santa parade, in the country. So our hats off to Pace because they wanted to be able to safely still have this parade for the enjoyment of our audience.
Absolutely. And then, going through the COVID-19 pandemic, that has been, one of the top tier things that they wanted to do. So now we are going to move on to the Chinese North Lions. They are beginning to walk through the parade route here on Southwest Jefferson.
That's right. The Lions actually have been in the parade. This was built new in 2012. 2 Chinese North Lions colorful silk dance costumes were donated to the parade by PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP way back in 2006. Now, because of the difficulty in wearing the costumes to walk the distance of the parade, Pace decided this year to mount them on this beautiful Chinese garden float. The arched pagoda was built by Fred Showalter, and the design layout was created by Shirley Zook and Robin and Scott Barnes. Pat Rice, Jim Junk, and Price Guston assisted in building that field. Isn't it beautiful?
It's beautiful, as you mentioned. And we do want to also say that the costumes were shipped directly from Shanghai to Peoria. So this is incredibly beautiful to have here with us today for the kickoff of the Santa Parade.
That was right. Way back in 2006, it was shipped here. We want to send a shout out to Shirley from Caterpillar and, of course, Kathy Montefusco from Peoria, who were instrumental in getting these costumes all the way from Shanghai. So this is legitimate, what you're looking at here. I mean, it actually was made.
I love the lanterns, too.
Yes, beautiful. A beautiful display, and our first display right here on the 133rd Santa Claus Parade, which this year is brought to you by Busey Bank, your partner for purpose and progress with 10 convenient locations across the Peoria area. So we want to thank the Chinese North Lions for that wonderful display. And speaking of the Busey Bank,
they're up next.
They're coming up next. That's right. They're coming up next. Their wonderful display. I know that because of the pandemic, it was a little harder for everybody to actually work on floats and different units this year. They had to be very safe, distance, masks, and the whole thing. But again, thanks to all of the great volunteers and all the great folks at Pace, we want to thank them because they did put in yeoman's work again to make sure these floats were up to snuff and we're all ready to go so that we could continue this Christmas tradition.
Absolutely, which is, something that the Peoria area, the greater Peoria area takes pride in with having that here in our local community. And through sound advice and simplified solutions, Busey has proudly supported small businesses for actually more than 150 years. And this float is amazing. We've got some nutcrackers on here. We've got a Christmas tree with the American flag at the very top. Of course, again, the Busey float passing through here right in front of us.
That's for sure. And again, thanks to all of the employees and those that work so hard to put the display up here for us this year. Once again, just did a great job. When I see these floats going by, it always harkens back to my days in high school when we had floats to put in a local parade.
Yeah.
And if you've never worked on a float, you don't understand how much hard work there really goes into putting it together. It's hours and hours and hours. And then each year before the parade goes on, those from Pace and those who sponsor the floats have to make sure that they're all ready to go. So again, a big shout out to our good friends at Busey Bank, and we want you to stop in, tell them you appreciate them sponsoring our parade once again this year and continuing on the tradition.
And up next, we have the Cinderella float. Now, Cinderella's fairy godmother has cast her spell for a happy ending, which I know we all are very much looking forward to. Lakeview's museum presents this lovely float. It was created by David Haas and Kurt Beckman, along with many of their friends as well. Cinderella was part of the 1996 Lakeview Museum Gala event. Pace volunteers made the carriage mobile, which you're seeing, and they did that by mounting the coach onto the trailer.
Yeah, that was a very good idea on their part, that's for sure. The 28-foot-long carriage and horses are made actually of styrofoam, although they don't look like it.
They don't at
and
all.
Fiberglass, fully upholstered on the interior. The beautiful horses pulling the carriage, which were made by Larry Calhoun of the fiberglass and painted by Wade Curry back in 2015. Now, Larry also added the cobblestone road that the carriage now rides on. It seems to me back in '96 is when Larry called up and says, "Can I be of any assistance in this parade?" And they said, "You bet," and he's been part of it ever since. And in fact, Larry is a very talented elf himself, also made the workshop and the Santa float. New costumes. Hey, hi.
Merry Christmas.
Good morning. Merry Christmas. New costumes for Wicked Stepmother and Stepsisters were purchased in 2006 and for Cinderella in 2008.
I love the artistry that we have here, with the people, with the horses, with the carriage. I mean, it's absolutely stunning to look at it. Even the clock tower, the intricate detail that you see and the time and the effort that went into that is absolutely phenomenal.
Right, and again, a big shout out to Larry Calhoun, who worked along with Wade Curry to make that look so very, very nice. And, of course, David Haas and Kurt Beckman as well. Thank you so much. Well, we do have bands this year, but this is a little different. Because of safety reasons, they decided not to have marching bands live right here at our telecast today. So what we did was we recorded several bands, and you're going to see the first of them right now. And it is actually a band that has not been in our parade before,
Right.
so we are welcoming them for the first time this year. There are over 200 students participating in the Bradley University Band Program. Performing groups include the Symphonic Winds, which you will see today, the Symphonic Band, the Jazz Ensemble, Groove Project, Basketball Band, and other smaller ensembles. The students who participate in these ensembles are selected by an audition each semester and represent a number of academic majors from every college on campus.
Amazing stuff. And Dr. David Vroman is their director. Let's take a listen now.
Aren't they great? Dr. V and his wonderful bands up there on the hilltop at Bradley University, and we got to hear the Symphonic Winds this
Very
morning.
professional.
Aren't they great? They
Amazing.
are great. Now, as the parade moves along here live on Southwest Jefferson, coming up next we have the Girl Scouts. This is Troop 4754. Were you ever in Scouts at all?
I was,
Were
yeah,
you?
I did.
Yeah, I was in Cub Scouts, but they wouldn't let me in the Girl Scouts.
No.
They just said, no, sorry. Anyway, when Santa comes down the chimney and places presents under the tree, the last thing he does before he goes back up the chimney, yep, you guessed it,
Oh, yeah.
eats cookies and has that milk. Now, what better cookies than Girl Scout cookies?
Girl Scout cookies.
I'll tell you, they sell themselves. The Thin Mints, to be exact, the #1 seller is the Thin Mints.
I believe that.
Look at the
fully.
little elf up there, and yes, fresh milk, cookies. The Cookie Express is what it's called. Anyway, the Cookie Express delivers our Girl Scout elves. The Girl Scouts started selling cookies, get this, back in 1918
Wow.
to help a family who lost their home due to a fire. That's how the whole thing started. And there were chocolate chip cookies. The rest, of course, as they say, is history. Cookie sales start February 5th, 2021, so mark that on your calendar
Another
right
reason
now.
to look forward
And
to
we may not
2021.
be in the usual establishments offering our cookies, but have no fear, they say. Us Girl Scout elves will be out there selling those cookies. So you be watching for the cookies in February of 2021. We thank them.
I say tagalongs are my favorite.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. The peanut butter patties
Oh,
or the
the
tagalongs.
peanut butter patties are
Right, that's
my
what they
favorite.
used to be called. Now they're
Something
tagalongs.
else. Yeah,
Something
but
else.
it's still the same good cookies.
Absolutely. And now here we are welcoming Christmas Under the Sea for our viewers who are tuning in from the comforts of their home, hopefully in their jammies, not out here cold like us. We have even the creatures under the sea celebrate this holiday season. Now the mermaid, which you see, sits in a 7-foot shell created 8 years ago by Robin Barnes and Pat O'Donnell. And, you know, Bob, in 2005, the new base was actually redesigned by Scott and Robin Barnes to make this float a little more interesting and bring it down to street level. So the shell and ship are constructed out of a wood frame with wire and plaster mesh.
Very good. I'll tell you, the Barnes, and there's several volunteers, but the Barnes family really is taking on this parade as their own personal project, and they've been doing a great job. Laura Burdess made the lovely mermaid costume worn this morning by Melissa Stockman. The big fish costumes were made by Kathy Monefusco, a big help as well, as you can see, and her mother Emmeline. The little fish was made by Robin Barnes. All very skilled craftsmen,
Absolutely.
I may ask, but look how beautiful they are. And again, we want to thank Melissa, because it is a little cool there today for being
She's
up
a
there as
trooper.
our mermaid today.
I
But
remember this from last year, too.
yes, and it's been in the parade many years, but every year it gets a little bit of a make-do again, just to make sure it's all nice.
All fresh.
All fresh, that's for sure. And coming up next, the Santa Express was remodeled this year again. The Express train, it was put on a new snowy base and repainted. The lights and the fog were added to enhance the train car. See, every year they do something a little different to make it a little bit better. Now, riding on the float, I see our board member Shirley Zook and her grandson Hayes Moulton. And Shirley, by the way, as I said earlier, is the co-chair of this parade. So, again, thank these folks if you do see them on the street or somewhere, because they're the ones responsible for this long-standing Christmas tradition here in central Illinois. The train engine and the coal car were created by David Haas, Kurt Beckman, and crew. Pace installed it on a trailer so it could be included in this parade, and this was part of the 2000 Lakeview Museum Gala 20 years ago. It's hard to imagine it's been that long.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine.
And this was the third unit, by the way, that David had donated to the parade over the years. That's
wow.
It says good old number 9. This unit, along with other 22 Pace units, will be headed back to the Santa warehouse. And thanks to Susie Stockman, Todd Davis, and the Pace for building such a great new building so that these floats could be stored in and worked on. That's the other thing. You have to have somewhere to store them until the next year, and somewhere that's big enough to actually
to
house everything. In 2015, another warehouse was built to accompany all the new floats. So another great float here, the Santa Express train.
And a Christmas story now making its way down the street here this morning. It was built actually in 2012. A Christmas season doesn't go by without watching the traditional movie 1940's The Christmas Story. Thanks to the sponsorship from the Paradise, we were able to provide a new addition this year. It's the beautiful, whimsical new float. Now, the float was designed by Erica Kronk with the Paradise and created and built by Todd Davis. The focus on the little boy in the playground with his tongue stuck frozen to the flagpole. You see him there, pretty funny. The famous leg lamp that the dad was so proud of, plus the Red Ryder BB gun that Ralphie tried to convince everyone was the best Christmas present, and of course, the eyeglasses that got busted when he fired that BB gun.
You know what's interesting about that isn't that old as far as the movie. The movie was made in '83. It was not a big success when it came out. It only found a following some years later. And
Which
of course
is
now
interesting.
is on every Christmas Eve for 24 hours on one of the cable networks. So it has become a real tradition for a lot of people. But when it first came out, it wasn't all that successful. But it certainly is now, and everybody, I think, knows about this movie that came out in 1983. So unlike a lot of Christmas traditions that go back, 100 years or more, this one is relatively new. But I see they did a great job on the lamp.
Yeah, it's
lamp.
7 foot tall. Did you know that?
some of our crew will remember, we actually had a news director at one time that had a replica of that in his office in the newsroom, which was always interesting to look at.
Yeah, I don't think we have that anymore.
No,
I think
no,
that's
no,
long
no.
gone.
Hey, coming up next, the Rotary Clubs of Peoria. We want to salute them downtown and, of course, north. The Rotary International ushers in the holiday season with this new float created by members from the Rotary Clubs of Peoria downtown and Peoria North. I'll have to see if my broadcast partner, Tom McIntyre, had anything to do with these, because
Right?
he's very involved in Rotary.
Yes.
Today, Rotary is promoting literacy programs in our community, which is one of the Rotary's areas of focus. Now, many area Rotarians are reading buddies with area grade school kids. They also donate books, supplies, and other items needed to support education throughout central Illinois. And Rotary International is a service program whose mantra is service above self. What a beautiful float they do have. A Rumpelstiltskin.
It's on our side, yes.
A couple of the three actually big books there, and the candy canes. What a beautiful float. Their efforts in supporting Polio Plus has brought the disease, get this, to 99.9% cured across the world. So the Rotarians do a lot of wonderful things year-round, and we want to salute them. Thanks again to the Rotary Clubs of Peoria downtown and north.
And now we are home for the holidays. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go in this vintage sleigh. Now, this handsome sleigh has been in the Davis family over 150 years. Now, many of the wintry rides has been enjoyed by this horse-pulled sleigh, and now is a part really of the traditional Santa Claus parade as part of the holiday scene. And riding in the sleigh today is Jen Knutson with her daughter Courtney. We are so happy to have them here, you know, socially distanced. They're wearing their masks as well as they come down the street this morning. I just love the way that the sleigh looks.
Oh, it's wonderful. And again, every year they all get a little renewed or redone again to make them always look fresh. By the way, the sun just popped out. Thank you, meteorologist Chris Yates, for that. Yeah, he gives a nice bow. A nice bow. But no, they did just a wonderful job on this year. And as you can see, we have the handsome sleigh been in the Davis family, what'd you say, 150 years or over?
150 years.
Yeah, many a ride actually was taken on that sleigh, so it's quite a thing. This float joined the parade in 2002 for the first time and was created by Jennifer Wiss, also Susie Stockman, Todd Davis, in 10 days. So
10
they must
days?
have worked, yes,
They
they must have worked
hard.
around the clock, I'll
They
tell you,
sure
to do
did.
that. By the way, back in 2008, Robin and Mike Floyd and Jim Wendland, Shirley Wendland, and Aaron Wolf all redecorated the house facade, which was painted, and the float was foamed and painted as snow. And, of course, Emmeline made the black velvet with the beautiful gold braiding capes that the ladies are now wearing. Thank you very much. That is a beautiful float.
Beautiful float.
Just a reminder, ensuring peace of mind, expanding business, building strong communities. Realize your financial dreams with our good friends at Busey Bank, who this year are sponsoring our 133rd annual longest-running Santa Parade in the country in our 63rd telecast.
Absolutely. We're turning now to the Havana Marching Band. It's under the direction of Mrs. Amanda Wiegers. The drum majors are senior Kaylee Meyer and senior Madison Hofreiter. Now, the flag corps is under the direction of Mrs. Tiffany Southwood. This is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
That's right. And now let's give a listen.
beautiful rendition of We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Very thankful we were able to go over there and include some bands in this year's parade, even though we are in the middle of a pandemic. Tuning now, we are debuting a new gondola to go with the signature sandwich with Avanti's. It's a business that's been in the Peoria area, since 1966.
Right.
Amazing. And,
Yep.
Bob, I am excited to see this one. I think it looks very festive.
It is,
very
and
rich with history.
We do welcome Avanti's. Has been around, as you said, forever. So we really think this is a great year for them to come up with their float. Very nice, and we welcome them. Hope they will be part of our parade for many years to come. Avanti's at many locations around the area. And if you are new to this area and haven't heard of Avanti's,
you got to go try it.
You got to go try it, that's for sure. I think most people know who they are, but unfortunately we don't have the names of the folks that are in that gondola, but we thank them very much for coming out on this cool day, that's for sure. Coming up next on our 133rd, I almost said telecast, but 100.
Maybe
that'd be
one
kind
day.
of hard, wouldn't it? Anyway, we have Christmas around the world, and certainly Christmas is celebrated around the world. Every country celebrates the holiday season in a little different way, and Pace recognizes this with a giant globe. The globe was actually created with the help of the engineers from Bradley University, Mark and Laura Burdess, and a great team of workers way back in 1993. Now, the Earth sits on an original Santa Parade flatbed that has been around for many years, actually. The globe is constructed with a wood frame covered with chicken wire, and then Susie Stockman covered the whole thing with plaster sheets.
Wow.
Beautiful, isn't it? We want to give a big shout-out to Richie, who also did the painting of the globe. By the way, it took a few tries to create such a large sphere. That is a big one,
I'm
too.
so sure.
A hot air balloon was tried, but deflated overnight, so we decided to go with this. But a shout-out to Richie and all of those who made that possible. Thank you so much.
Beautiful float. Coming next down the driveway here is the Flintstones Christmas Follies. Now, yabba dabba doo, right?
That's for sure.
This is the Bedrock Diner. So you can actually, Bronto burger and ribs with onion rings, plus a little bit of a chocolate shake.
Woo.
No
no
that
calories
sounds really
in
good.
that, right?
No calories. Christmas calories don't count.
Okay,
They don't count.
Okay.
The Flintstones Christmas Follies float was designed by Robin Floyd, Shirley Zook, and Dennis Mao, and it was constructed by Aaron Wolf, Rita Horton, Larry Thompson, Tim Hickey, and Tom Houston. And as you can see, costumes this year for the float were made by Kathy and Emmeline. We are so thankful for their ingenuity, and I love the designs they used for these outfits.
They are. And on the float today is Terry and Bob and Chantel and Colton. We want to thank them. They're having a good time waving at our cameras. By the way, the diner was constructed back in 2007 with chicken wire, and the whole float was covered with spray foam and then painted. So a lot of work went into that. And the cars were constructed with wood and burlap and fiberglass plastic board for the wheels. The diner includes a playground area for the children, but I'm sorry to say there is no real food inside, although that's certainly sounded pretty good. Hey, you know what? For more than 150 years, Busey's built a foundation of broad financial capabilities, vast knowledge, and close relationships that span generations. And you can realize your best future. Busey's right beside you. And again, thanks to Busey and all of the employees and the executives for, again, sponsoring this parade, our 63rd telecast. And we are very appreciative of that. Stop into one of their locations. Tell them you appreciate it, especially this year with the pandemic and so many couldn't come downtown.
Turning now to the Coca-Cola Tractor Trailer, plus we have the Polar Bear theme as well. Now this location is from Bartonville. It's proudly serving the Peoria and surrounding areas. The Special Olympics, Peoria Chiefs, the Peoria Rivermen. Obviously, due to COVID-19, the Coca-Cola Polar Bear is in hibernation early, but at the Jacobs Pharmacy in downtown Atlanta as well. So we have them here with the Santa Parade today. We are very excited to see them. I know that this is a staple these commercials too are always the cutest throughout the holiday season.
Oh, yeah, it's been around a long time. And, yeah, as you said, for those that don't know, the home headquarters for Coca-Cola is in Atlanta, Georgia. They have a great big building down there. But, again, we want to thank Heartland Coca-Cola for being part of our parade today. And once again, just a reminder that UC Bank is our sponsor for our telecast today. And with over 100,000 acres under management, partner with a team whose roots run deep. That's Busey Ag Services. Now, we've had a few bands, and we have one more for you. Again, we had to, this year, no walking heads, no, we had to decide to have the bands do this safely. So we pre-recorded these, and this is actually the Concordia Lutheran School Marching Band from last year, but let's give them a listen again. And this is the Marching Cougar Band. Also, Mr. Eric Hipple is directing this wonderful band in the Honor Guard. They have spent 48 years in the Santa Parade.
That in itself is really amazing.
Yeah, they really are. And by the way, in May of 2020, they're going to be out in Washington, D.C. performing. Let's give them a listen right now.
Bob, it looks like we have some proud parents right over here. Everybody's got their phones out getting the photos.
They are taking some pictures, and you notice in the back.
Look how little they are.
Yeah, look at Concordia. These are the proud beginners. Look at that. Aren't they cute?
That is so neat.
Yeah, they are wonderful. The crowd giving them a big hand. But
that
once
just
again,
shows you how talented kids really are.
They
give
really
them
are,
the
and
chance.
they like to get started early with the band. We salute all of them, their parents, the staff, the director, everybody, because, again, they're taking time out of their holiday to be part of our band, or part of our parade here today. One of the wonderful bands in Central Illinois.
Beautiful music, again, by the Concordia Lutheran School Marching Band. Very reminiscent of last year.
I was going to say, I have done
not
this 47 years, and I believe they've been in just about every parade.
Amazing.
Yes.
Love it. I love the dedication.
Oh, yes.
Now we are going to be introducing Frosty the Snowman here in Central Illinois. We are watching out for snow eventually. We'll check in with Chris Yates here in a few minutes to see if we've got any in the forecast. But for now, Frosty the Snowman is hoping to stay around a long time this winter. You can watch his magic as it comes alive with the eyes of children. Frosty has been a part of the Santa Parade since 1976. In 76, all of the floats were actually vandalized while being stored at the Expo Garden. So Pace Elves refurbished the float in 2009 with new snow and a paint job as well. Karen also made him a new hat, scarf, and gloves.
Wow, that is beautiful. It is beautiful.
And riding the toboggan are Dustin and Jenny Stratton, along with their daughters, Reagan and Sydney. We are very happy to have them here with us, and with Frosty as well.
Boy, they are, I was going to say, that takes me back to my youth, the toboggan. Boy, that ended up, I love the toboggan over the sled. You could go much further and faster on the toboggan. Now, we got to ask Chris Yates about, speaking of snow, anything in the near future since we're getting into the Christmas season.
Enough for you to dust off your toboggan and go? Probably not. But we do have maybe some snow showers coming in by the weekend. But
really?
I know, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not tobogganing weather.
But we're not going to be able to make Frosty out of it.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, it won't be that much. Anyway, thank you for the Frosty the Snowman. All the participants there just waving, having a great time. But Frosty the Snowman, again, one of those that we see each and every year in our wonderful parade. Coming up next is actually the Christmas train sponsored by OSF Care and Pace. The Pace Children's Train has been around since 1976. See, before you.
Before I was born, yes.
But not me. I was doing this parade when he. Anyway, Jennifer Wiss, a past Pace board member, repainted the cars in 2005 and added Snoopy, Winnie the Pooh Bear, and all their friends. And we are excited this year to again have OSF Home Care as a sponsor of the Pace Children's Train this year. Riding in and along the train and walking with the train are staff and friends from the OSF Home Care, including the home health, hospice, home infusion pharmacy, home medical equipment, plus personal response. We provide safe, quality care in the best place to be in right now, and that's in your own home. So receive your care at home for the holidays and all year. And by the way, the beautiful train cars are made of plywood with peppermint-looking wheels that ride on a bed of pedal paper snow. Say that fast 3 times. In 2015, it was given a facelift with a new skirting installed and bedazzled with those beautiful snowflakes. The children's train is always a big favorite in the Santa Parade. And since we hardly have any folks actually along the parade route today,
Right.
just a few who brave souls that came down, we hope that all of you are enjoying this telecast today, because many people, thousands would actually still be down here
Right.
as part of their holiday tradition. Had to change a little bit this year, but we're glad we're still able to bring you this wonderful parade.
And while you're looking up some information on OSF Home Care Services, Busey also has a mobile app. It's a hassle-free banking anytime, anywhere. You can do it directly from your device, which we're talking COVID-19 times. Anything you can do at home quickly, efficiently is the best way to go.
You know, it's too bad Busey wasn't around when the old woman in the shoe, because she probably could have used their help in many ways.
Yes.
But there was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. So, guess what? She brought them to the longest continuing running Santa Parade in the nation. What else would you do, right?
What else?
Anyway, this float, along with the Conestoga and Circus Wagon, are the oldest units in the parade.
Oh,
Pay attention,
gosh.
there will be a quiz afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, the Peoria
I'll write
Area
this down.
Telephone Pioneers retirees had maintained this unit for many years, and in fact, a shout out to them, because they were involved in the early years and for many years helping out. In 2000, they donated the float to Pace. Now, this is the 30th year that Terry Alexander has been the old woman in the shoe.
Oh.
So thank you, Terry, for, yes. Yeah,
Merry
Merry
Christmas to you as
and
well.
your 30th year in the suit. 30th year. Well, congratulations. And now let's go over to Chris Yates.
All right. Hey, is there a special message you want to give out to everybody here in Central Illinois?
I just want to say to everybody, it has been a hard year, but we're still all together for this Santa Claus parade. And this is my 30th year doing the old lady in the shoe. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Now,
Merry
the only thing is, Terry is not old herself, because she's young. She's young at heart. And so, I mean, Terry will never age. You know, 35 years from now, she'll still be the old woman in the shoe, right? Okay, she hopes so. Okay, thanks, Terry, so much. The children, by the way, we want to recognize them. Her granddaughter, Emily, right? Is that Emily?
13
Okay,
years
great-granddaughter, Mia. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, and we have Ayla, Hadley, Hudson, and Cohen. And the Santa Parade Elves updated the float in 2008 by repainting and trimming the shoes. So it always gets a little update.
Wonderful. Coming up next, we have the Niche Theater Arts. They are wishing all of us a happy holiday with their float and candy cane wishes of Christmas tree and hope. Now, they are featuring a Christmas tree covered with handwritten wishes from their students, and the singing and the dancing of their community performing group, the NTA Rising Star. We are very excited to see this today as well. We are actually able to kind of hear them a little bit. I think they have a sound system on their float, which is interesting. We haven't had that yet this year.
No, it's beautiful float, though. Look at that.
The decoration is so nice.
Oh, they do. And they're involved in a lot of things. They have acting, music, dance, technical theater programs for students. It says, please visit nichetheaterarts.org or like them on Facebook. And we can actually take a listen to this award-winning group. It's called Rising Stars.
Absolutely. And it looks like they actually have a holiday special premiering on December 24th.
Oh, they're going to sing for us a little bit here.
Oh, I'll take a listen.
Here we go.
Holiday
Boy, they're doing a great job, aren't they?
It's hard not to sing along with them.
I'll
I had
tell
to
you,
turn my mic away so
you
nobody
know
heard me.
that they're doing a great job when our camera operators are dancing along with the music.
Oh, yes.
Well, they're
Randy's
still
got
operating the
moves going
cameras.
on
I mean,
here.
everybody is into this. Aren't they talented?
I love it.
And I love that song, too.
It's such a good song. It's very festive. You just
Oh,
gets you in
it's
a good
just-
mood.
And I was just going to say, they made my holiday happier just seeing them and
Yes.
watching their routine. So, again, thank you so much to all of them. Anyway, coming up next, now we're going back a ways. We're going back to the old stagecoach days, the cowboy and the cowgirl Christmas. Many years ago, transportation was by stagecoach. Now, these cowfolk are headed to a great holiday shopping season. The Pace unit was made way back in '93 by Robin Barnes, Mary, and Wade Curry, including 3 generations of the Barnes family, Mike, Scott, and Skip. And this year, they created and upgraded this unit with new cactus, more authentic wagon wheels, and, of course, the decorative Western medallions. Look at this, folks.
Ooh, I love it.
The Cowboy and Cowgirl Christmas was once the old Cinderella carriage that had been in the parade for 20 years. This I remember. When the current Cinderella was donated to the parade by the Lakeview Museum, the stagecoach float was created, and the horses and coach are all that remains from that original float. But again, it got a little bit of a spruce up this year again.
We are happy about that. And riding the float today is the Downing family. We are happy to have them here with us for the 133rd Santa Claus Parade here in downtown Peoria live.
That's for sure. And our sponsor is Busey Bank, and from family farms to agribusinesses, put your trust in an organization whose roots run deep with more than 100,000 acres under management. Busey Ag Services is committed to maximizing the value for you landowners, so keep them in mind. Busey Bank, thank you so much again for carrying on this tradition.
And coming up next, we have Aaron Kilgore, State Farm agent out of Peoria. Santa's sleigh hit a patch of ice while landing on the roof and crashed into the chimney. Luckily, though, Santa is insured with Aaron Kilgore State Farm. Now, this is Aaron's second year in the Santa Claus Parade. Aaron and his team are good neighbors to Santa and will be good neighbors to you as well. And you don't have to travel to the North Pole, as Aaron is located centrally in Peoria on Sterling Avenue. He will, of course, have milk and cookies for Santa and a hot cup of cocoa for you. I hope he has marshmallows.
Well, I
that's
see on the
best part.
float, poor Santa went head first down the chimney.
Yikes.
So I'm glad he is insured. But you know what, kids, don't worry, because Santa will be at your house this year. But again, thank you so much to the good folks at State Farm. Hey, we have more bands for you now coming up as well. In fact, I think this may be a first for us in this parade. The Pekin High School Symphonic Band. It's a curricular ensemble that currently meets at 50% capacity, alternating days, of course, because of the pandemic. These students could be seen in all of the major ensembles at PCHS, including the marching band, the pep band, the jazz ensemble, symphony orchestra, and the percussion ensemble. And while this is only the second time this school year that they've all played together, they are thankful that they can continue to make music through these difficult times. So right now, we are pleased to present the Pekin High School Band.
Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and.
Well, that's the Pekin High School Symphonic Band, Rebecca, and we really want to thank them. As we said before we introduced them, this is only the second time this school year, so this semester, in other words, that they've all been able to get together. And they did it for your enjoyment at home, and we hope that you did enjoy it. Of course, they did it safely, and that's the main reason that we have no bands live downtown here this year, is for safety reasons because of COVID, which we hope at one point will, of course, not be a problem anymore. And next year maybe we'll have a regular parade where folks can come down and really enjoy it here live and whatever. But next we have three men, and they're in a tub, and I hope there's hot water in that tub today. It's rub-a-dub-dub, three men in a tub, and how do you think they got there? Well, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, they all jumped out of a rotten potato. 'Twas enough to make a man stare, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Riding in the float are the Coolies this year, and in 1976, and a lot of you that have watched our parade for many years remember that the floats were vandalized out at the Expo Gardens. The three men in a tub float was one of the new units that came out of those efforts of the Peoria JCs back in '76. Yeah, the JCs really came to our rescue, and they really helped out along with many others to make sure that the parade went on after all these floats were vandalized.
Yeah.
Three men in a tub, like all of the Pace floats, are built on old farm carts, and a few years ago this unit needed its wheels retooling and repairs, so we need to give a big thank you to Dave Armitage of Armitage Machine Company. Thank you, David, for helping us out and making the float possible again this year.
And coming up next, we're going to introduce you to the Heart of Illinois Fair Queens. The Miss Heart of the Illinois Fair is the 19-year-old daughter of Tracy and Jerry, or Terry, I can't really tell. It kind of looks like a J or a T, so I'm sorry if it's Jerry, if it's Terry, it's Terry. We'll go with either one. We'll just act like I got it right. Now, their daughter is a sophomore of the Blackhawk College, where she's actually studying physical therapy on a basketball scholarship. She plans to specialize in pediatric physical therapy with her degree. Little Miss Heart of the Illinois Fair is 10-year-old Rowan. She's the daughter of Carrie and Mike of Peoria. Rowan attends Rankin Elementary School and is in the 4th grade. We're going to check in with Chris now to talk to these two ladies and see how they're doing today.
Thank you, Rebecca. I'm going to use my very long candy cane to do a socially distanced interview. How are you guys doing?
We're good. How are you?
I'm good. You guys have any special messages for those of us here in Central Illinois?
We just hope you have a happy holidays. You have anything to say?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you guys, too. Stay nice and warm out there, huh?
Well, we are definitely happy to have both of them with us today. We've got, with COVID this year, they are happy to be able to do the Santa Claus Parade 2 years in a row. So we're happy they were able to join us.
The Little Miss Heart of Illinois is 10-year-old Rowan, and I believe she is the first one to be the Little Miss Heart of Illinois.
Amazing.
So they are just wonderful ladies, and we appreciate them being in the parade, staying warm, I hope. Anyway, Christmas with the Simpsons. Enjoy the holidays with the Simpsons. The float was designed, constructed, back in 2006 by Robin and Mike Floyd and Tina and Jimmy Wendland. And helping with the float were Sarah, Cassidy, Shelby, and Larry Calhoun once again. The float includes colorful life-size replicas of Bart and the whole Simpson gang. The donated characters were built by Heat and Frost Insulators Local 17 out of Chicago and used in the Labor Day Parade in 2004. Look at that. Boy, I tell you, we all remember The Simpsons. All the materials used in the construction of these characters and furniture are made from insulation products. And as always, they do a wonderful job. But we want to tip our hat to Heat and Frost Insulators Local 17. And again, this was used way back in the early 2000s, but every year gets a little redo. And I see things are still going well at Elf Lane. They're in Simpson country, but what beautiful float and well done by all those involved.
And turning now to Grace Baptist Church. It's a gray van by Grace Baptist Church. They're located at 405 North Richland Pryor Place in Peoria with the zip code of 61605. The red and white garland that you can see as they approach our way. And, they say it's because Jesus is the reason for the season. So they are saying a Merry Christmas to all of Central Illinois who are tuning in to us here on WMBD for the live broadcast of the 133rd Santa Claus Parade, which has been made possible by Busey. Busey is where you live, work, or travel with MoneyPass. It's conveniently accessed by more than 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs throughout the United States. Again, we have Grace Baptist Church walking through the street here at Southwest Jefferson in downtown Peoria.
And everybody is masked, so they are, they're celebrating the holiday in a very safe way here. But we do appreciate them being part of our program this year. And, of course, as you just said, Jesus is the reason for the season, and lest we forget, it certainly is. And many of our folks of faith will be celebrating the birth of Christ coming up next month. But we all wish you a very happy holidays. And once again, Grace Baptist Church, if you care to go down and look at their services and be participating, 405 North Richard Pryor Place. Now coming up, the Gingerbread House. Hey,
Ooh.
There you go. I hope you're a little sweet tooth.
I say, are you hungry yet?
Yeah, I was going to say the sweet tooth coming into play there. The float was baked, mind you, by the Pace Elf Chefs in 2014. A 14 by 8 foot, not inch, 14 by 8 foot gingerbread house created and built with sheets of gingerbread. Of course, unfortunately, you can't eat this gingerbread. Sure looks good enough to eat, though.
Sure
it's
does.
made of plywood and insulation. Now, you'd get
That
fiber,
sounds more like
but
it.
yeah, might be a little tough going down the tummy. Painted with customized gingerbread paint. The roof is covered with, get this, count them, 120 hand-painted peppermints and gumdrops. One, two, no, I don't
Say
have
we'll
time.
be here for a while.
Yeah, that's right. This creation was designed and built by Scott and Robin Barnes with the help of Tammy McBride, Shirley and Chris Zook, and Pat Rice. This is the third gingerbread house in the history of the 133rd parade. So that's not too bad. They've only had 3 in 133 years. So, that's saying something. Beautiful float. Well done by all those who were involved in it.
And coming down our way next is the Conestoga Wagon. It's one of the oldest units in the parade. Actually, before we do that, you know what, Bob? I think we should talk about the Richwoods Band.
Yeah, we've had several great bands, and again, they all had to be distanced today, which means we have them on tape. But Richwoods is coming up next, and actually, I think, Rebecca, this was one that this was a pictures of the band and their music from last year. So let's turn the clock back to last year and once again watch a wonderful band from the north side of town, the Richwoods High School Band.
Well, next we have Richwoods High School. Looks like they're bringing the marching band with them. Now, Bob, I had to tell you, a drum line is my absolute favorite. Just the way that they can carry, just the tempo for the whole thing is phenomenal. And they got the flags out here today. They've got the banner that they're carrying. They just have a good beat today.
Yeah, marching nights. Now, this is the interesting thing. Nearly half of the student population is involved in arts, music, or whatever. They have an orchestra, the concert bands, marching band, and, of course, jazz ensemble, 4 choirs, and madrigal singers. They perform all over the area. And mark your calendars, Sunday, December 15th, the Christmas holiday concert at the school. Let's give them a listen. The Richwoods Band getting a big hand. That actually rhymes. The Richwoods Band gets a big hand. But, oh, yeah, they do a great job. That was a look back at last year's parade. The Richwoods Marching Knights, wonderful band, award-winning band, as all of these bands are, and we appreciate being able to use them again this year, getting us into the holiday spirit, even if we had to crank the clock back a little bit. I will tell you, for those of you sitting in your warm home right now, maybe by the fireplace, it has gotten considerably windier out here right now.
And a little
I haven't
colder.
checked with Chris's anemometer right now, but it has to be really twirling there. Anyway, coming up next is the Conestoga wagon, and this is one of the oldest units in the parade, along with the Old Woman in the Shoe, going back 133 years, about when you use Conestoga wagons. Riding in the float are friends of Rita, Bombold, and a Boy Scout troop. Greenery provided by the National Tree Growers Association.
Wonderful. I love that. And some interesting facts, Bob.
Yes.
You know, is that Pace has been producing the Santa Parade for 33 years. Now, the parade is typically funded by many of the summer events that they've had. You know, the Taste of Peoria, Steamboat Days, the Labor Day Parade and Picnic, but that, of course, could not take place this year. So they just wanted to take this opportunity to thank all of the volunteers that have made this year's parade go on as normal, because all great events in Peoria are brought to you by Pace.
That's for sure. And right now, boy, I tell you, all of our participants, the few that are really on these floats this year, we have to give them a big shout out, because they are really having to bundle up, especially with the wind blowing. It seems like it's blowing right at them as they're going down Jefferson Street. That's for sure. Anyway, we thank them again for being on one of the oldest floats in this 133-year-old parade. And a reminder again that our team is here to help develop plans, build strategies that work as hard as you do. With the right partner and investment strategies in place, you can take charge of the years ahead. That's right. Busey's wealth management experts are right beside you. And right next to us is coming the Scottish Rite Valley of Peoria. And, of course, the Scottish Rite Valley of Peoria represents Masonic youth and families. Of course, big on families for sure. The Mole youth and Job's daughters. So they're all part of what makes up the Scottish Rite Valley of Peoria. And it includes several counties in and around central Illinois. So we really appreciate them being in our parade.
And I love the flag they've got there.
Oh,
the Santa flag. I've never
and the
seen
Merry
such
Christmas
a thing.
flag there. Yes, they do, and the United States flag. Well, coming up here, this is one that should be familiar, especially for those of you that have watched our parade for many years. Here it comes, the Looney Tune Town. It's the colorful fun float for kids of all ages, no matter what age you are. Usually this float is accompanied by many of our favorite costume characters whose kids like to greet each year, but, of course, due to the COVID, the school key clubs were unable to take part in the parade this year, but it's still rather beautiful, right, Rebecca?
It is. It's very festive, very in tune with, obviously, Looney Tunes. So, you know, it's just great to have it here. The colorful creation was actually a group effort from the Pekin Chamber of Commerce and the Pace volunteers. In 1993, during that summer, a small group of Santa Parade creators restored several floats, as we've mentioned, after the Pace board took over the parade management. The truck for the Pace units are driven by the Peoria firefighters and the Pace board friends. So we want to thank everyone, as this would not be possible without you. And while we are giving out thanks, we also want to thank Busey, who is a business loan all in one bank. Your mortgage with another, your investments with yet another. But lessen the complexity and streamline your finances by utilizing Busey Bank.
Chris Yates, I'm going to just ask you briefly. I think the wind has picked up considerably, but you promised us no snow today, but maybe over the weekend?
Yeah, maybe a slight chance for some light snow showers. We'll see. There's going to be a big storm off to our east there, Bob, come this weekend. So we'll probably get some showers out of that, but nothing that's, again, to bring out your toboggan. You're going to have to wait a while.
I must tell you that Chris is in his Santa, well, not Santa suit, but he's got a colorful coat on, but no overcoat.
No
So-
overcoat. It's a little chill. You know, surprisingly, this is actually, I mean, it's paper thin, but I'm warm enough.
Okay.
But thanks to the hat,
Oh, yeah.
the ears are good.
We must also mention that before Chris came here, he was working out in Wyoming, so he's used to cold weather.
Cold and windy. This is nothing.
Right,
except,
this is normal.
except originally you're from San Diego, so this
Well,
is not quite San Diego
No,
weather.
this is far from San Diego weather.
Okay, coming up next, we have the Pirate Treasure Ship. This is the Magic Mayfly, and it was created in 1998 for the Lakeview Museum's fundraising gala. The float was designed, constructed by David Haas, Kurt Beckman, and their friends, and with the help with Pace, was put on a trailer so that everybody can enjoy this great float in the Santa Parade. By the way, riding on the float and trying to stay warm are the Waters and the Mary families. A beautiful float as always. The ship is constructed primarily of wood, complete with a mast and sails and fans to send this Mayfly along if there's enough wind, and there is today.
There is today.
I don't think they would need a truck to pull them along. In 2011, Larry Calhoun created the ocean waves, which are under the ship. I'm sure that took a lot of work as well. And new costumes were made for the float in 2007 by Sue Patterson, the past president of the Pace Board. And again, want to give a big shout out to Pace because they have taken over this parade many years ago and have done just a wonderful job, and all the many volunteers, but they really put their heart and soul into this. Again, there goes the Mayfly, and we want to thank them very much for being part of our parade. Well, you know we're getting close when we have the Santa's Workshop coming up next, right? The old man himself is coming up pretty quickly.
Absolutely. We are taking a look at Santa's Workshop. It took about 3 years to construct, and it was new to the parade in 2005. Santa's elves constructed a workshop for the elves to make toys for all the good little boys and girls. The float was designed and constructed by Larry Calhoun, who also made Santa's sleigh. Now, some interesting facts, Bob, is many elves have painted the float and the workshop tools, plus the rocking horse, which you see, those were all made by Mike Monefusco. Now, this year, they have added 11 darling characters that were created by Pat Rice, so that is something new this year. I want to thank Pat for her dedication and creativity, bringing these 11 characters to life as we see as the float makes its way past our station here. You know, and one thing that the COVID-19 pandemic has allowed people to do is pick up a more crafty hand with being at home. You know, the kids are at home with learning and school, so why not utilize that time to do
that
something
is a
new?
beautiful float, and look at all the hard work went into making all of that. And again, every year these floats look just fabulous because Pace and all of the volunteers go in there along with the sponsors and make sure that everything is really looking well and looking snazzy.
Very sharp.
And again, it takes many, many, many man and women hours to put these things together. But done another great job to Pace and all of their volunteers. Well, this is the one reason that one of the many reasons that you're watching the parade, but the man himself and Mrs. Claus are coming up. So here he comes, Rebecca, the person everybody's been waiting for, Santa, in his slicked up 1995 model sleigh designed and built by Larry Calhoun, his wife Cindy, and sister-in-law Sandy Graham. Mrs. Claus joined Santa back in 2006 to welcome in the holiday season and has been accompanied him every year. Her cape, by the way, was designed, made by Emmeline Schurter, and Santa has come to town in various ways. In fact, in 1887, he came down the river in a boat.
Oh, wow!
Yes, in 88, the parade was made of decorated business wagons. In the late 80s, Santa traveled the parade route in a coach drawn by 6 black horses. In the early 1900s, Santa's Toy Town Express brought him into Union Station, which is the Rock Island Depot, which is still standing, where he was greeted by Spencer's Band, and the parade escorted Santa to the Block and Cool Toyland. Many folks will remember that, where he would climb up a fire escape to the toy department and the magical North Pole Workshop. But and also, back then, the fireworks were set off on the roof of Block and Cool Department Store. But here he is himself, along with Mrs. Claus, Santa Claus. And Santa, welcome to Central Illinois.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. It's a pleasure to be here this year. And as always, ho, ho, ho!
How are you and Mrs. Claus getting along, what with COVID and everything? It looks like you're masked up and you're all set for the season.
Well, it's a little tough, you know. The elves are doing okay. I think we're not going to disappoint very many children this year.
And we don't want anybody to worry. So despite the pandemic, you are still going to be making your route,
Oh,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. We're not going to miss one child. We're going to make all of our rounds, even with the pandemic.
Well,
that makes my heart happy.
Santa, we have to have your official ho, ho, ho to get us started on this holiday season 2020.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
And Merry Christmas to you and Mrs. Claus as well. Thank you so much for being part of this wonderful parade, and we just appreciate you being here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay, there he is, the man himself, Santa Claus, with those wonderful reindeer, and he will be here, of course, come December 24th, Christmas Eve. He will be making those rounds. Mrs. Claus, you take care as well. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, oh, we do have something. Yes.
Bob, I'm not sure what exactly is happening here.
We have one other little entry here.
It looks like Krampus is what I'm reading is coming to town. It looks like we've got the Grinch here as well.
Okay, well, anyway, we are glad Santa is arrived. He's safe and sound, had a great trip from the North Pole. And that is going to do it for us this year.
It is, the
it really
133rd.
is. And I might mention, normally at about right now, we would give you the list of the winners of the parade and the floats. But because of the pandemic and because of the shortened parade and because of the logistics this year, there was no judging done. So just for those that wondered. So we have no winners this year. As far as I was concerned, they all did a great job. And we want to thank all of you at home for joining in. Because, as I said, we're trying to be safe and take care going into the holiday season with this pandemic. We hope all of you will stay safe as well. And, Rebecca, it's been a pleasure being with you again this year.
Absolutely. It's my honor to be here with you, Bob. We are excited to bring this to Central Illinoisans.
We hope that this has made your tradition, holiday tradition, off to a great start again this year, even though we have had the pandemic. We wish you a healthy holiday season as well. And for all of our crew here, back at the station, and from all of us at Next Star Broadcasting, we want to wish you and yours a very healthy and happy holiday season. Take care, everybody. We'll see you back here next year. Thank you.
The 133rd Annual Santa Claus Parade, Christmas Wishes Filled with Hope, was brought to you by Busey Bank. On behalf of everyone at Busey, we wish you a healthy, happy, and safe holiday season.